How's it going, guys? And welcome back to BL3's Forgotten, the series where I take a look at underused and not often talked about pieces of gear to determine whether or not they deserve to be remembered within the modern meta of the game or should be left behind and forgotten. And today we are taking a look at the Brainstormer. If you'd like to farm the Brainstormer for yourself, you're going to fast travel over to Skywall 27 on Promethea and make your way through and down to the save station just in front of Katagawa Ball's arena. Run on forward and jump down the elevator shaft, kill Katagawa Ball, and he can drop you the Brainstormer. The Brainstormer is a legendary Hyperion shotgun, only rolling in shock damage, and able to come with 7 or 14 projectiles per shot for 1 to 2 ammo cost per shot respectively. When fired, the pellets of the Brainstormer will make a lightning bolt pattern, and for every pellet that impacts an enemy, a chain will be created between that enemy and other nearby enemies, dealing constant shock damage. The Brainstormer has received a single buff, increasing the chance of those projectiles to create a chain. So to start off here, let's quickly go over the differences between the ×7 and the ×14 variants. While the ×14 does of course chew through ammo much quicker and you will be reloading sooner, I think generally it is just the better variant of the two. If we're talking about single target damage, the difference isn't enough to really say that the ×14 is better because the ×7 kills just about as fast. However, this isn't a single target weapon. Its gameplay is far more focused around those chains and therefore means your goal is to get as many of those chains active at the same time, meaning either the ×7 or the ×14, you're gonna just want to mag dump constantly. You get the same amount of chains per mag with either variant, the ×14 just gets them going quicker, which is why I think, again, generally it's probably the better option. Now, the Brainstormer used to be a very popular weapon, being a top tier option for quite some time, at least after that buff that it got. In the very early days of BL3, there really wasn't many weapons that had the AoE potential that the Brainstormer did, making it incredibly valuable just for those chains that could screen wipe in a matter of seconds. But as time went on, the Brainstormer started to fall behind. As does currently, the gun is still definitely a very solid option and performs well even up into True Guardian Takedown, but there is one major thing holding it back. The Brainstormer is no longer the best version of the Brainstormer. On Mayhem 6+, you get access to the Reflux, a gun that functions identically to the Brainstormer, just being corrosive and dealing significantly more damage. It is effectively the gun version of what the Brainstormer's buff would have been, along with an element swap, which honestly, I don't personally mind that much. I do see a lot of complaints about this, how a lot of the Mayhem weapons are kind of just better versions of other guns that already exist, but honestly, I kind of think that's the way the Mayhem guns should be. It gives a good upgrade to the people that push into those higher tiers, while those that don't still have a variant of the same gun to run with. But obviously, that does lead to the original versions of those guns, like the Brainstormer, being practically obsolete at the endgame of BL3. Although these guns are two entirely different elements, right? That's a bit of a difference and potentially a reason to use the Brainstormer. No, there's another Brainstormer that showed up pretty much around the same time as the Reflux, though technically had been around since launch as well. Using a face puncher with the static charge relic effectively creates a Brainstormer, but with the addition of Mayhem 2.0's Mayhem scaling and the groundbreaker Guardian rank perk, that synergy became significantly stronger and probably even stronger than the Brainstormer could ever hope to be. And fuck, with a proper setup, it's probably still even stronger than the Reflux. After all that though, I would just like to quickly reiterate, the Brainstormer currently is not a bad gun. It actually, again, functions incredibly well across all the content in the game, and hell, it even has some pretty cool interactions. For example, Infusion and Indiscriminate work together to generate chains of other elements. Because Indiscriminate can individually ricochet the infusion parts of a projectile, that means it can create a separate Brainstormer projectile of whatever Amara's infusion element is, which will then of course create a chain between enemies of that element. These chains, being constantly taking damage, also proc a lot of short fuse and a lot of Megavore, making it incredibly good on Moze and Flak. But not even these synergies are unique to it because the Reflux, again, functions exactly the same. The Brainstormer is a good gun. It functions well at the current endgame of BL3 and holds up well enough, but its exact identity has pretty much been stolen from it twice. With the existence of the reflux and the face puncher static charge interaction, it becomes incredibly difficult to justify using the Brainstormer over anything else unless you're playing below Mayhem 6. But even then, odds are the face puncher setup outperforms. Though the Brainstormer is like ever so slightly easier to set up with a bit less investment, and is probably easier to get going for a story run because of how early you can get it. So I suppose that is a big dub for the Brainstormer. But in the endgame, even if you just really like the Brainstormer, the reflux gives the exact same gameplay. But that's not about to do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, definitely consider leaving a like, comment, subscribe, all that. I'll be live right after this video goes up, right here on YouTube and also over my Twitch channel, where there will be a link to down in the description below. And just under that is a link to my Discord server where you can come and join and hang out. But with that all being said, I hope to see you guys in the next one.